mix up the music a little bit. This is a little hardcore for. I feel like we're coming out for a fight. maybe too lovey. What is this stuff? I thought this was a rock channel. That's a little better. A little bit better. I got a couple people in here. Hope everyone is doing well. Give me 1 second here while I get this all dialed in. Trying to get my screens all set up. Oh, how's everybody doing? Hope your week is going well. So instead of releasing a new video today, so if you guys are new to the channel, been following the channel, you know I typically upload videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes randomly on the weekend. So today, I didn't want to upload another 2nd gen video. I didn't have my next 6th gen video ready, so I'm going to do a live stream. So today's new video will be a Lethal Live Real Talk, where today we are talking about the Lethal Classic versus the Lethal Late Model, in a sense. So all that being stated, hopefully the sound and video quality is coming through okay. It's a little dark in here. I got a couple lights in front of me. Hopefully you guys can see things. In my preview it looks a little grainy, but hopefully the audio and all that stuff's coming through okay. Tampa in the house. So we got 20 people tuned in. Got a couple people giving thumbs up. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you like it. Let me know you want more of it. I'm sitting here. I haven't got my chocolate milk. Gotta have a good glass of chocolate milk when you're streaming, right? Maybe not. But so we got Philip Death has been the first person besides myself talking in the stream. What's going on? We got One Bad One LE saying really well. I'm assuming that's an answer to my question I asked a bit ago. And we got Ronald from Tampa up in here. And a Robert Jones giving us a thumbs up. Got some, I think that's to the stream quality and sound. But yeah. So how's everybody doing? I think I already asked that. But overall, I'll get to the questions here in a second. But Lethal Garage. So if you guys didn't know, just a quick, how can I give this a quick summary? So I created this channel with a goal to be helpful, create install videos, check out content that I purchased, create a video about it, share my experience with it. That's how it all started. And a couple years, God, it's been quite a few years later. And here I am. I have over 900 videos. We're just past 60,000 subscribers. I don't do daily vlogs or anything like that. That's not why I created this channel. The overarching goal has always been being helpful, creating content and guides that you guys could utilize to hopefully help sway your decision or hopefully avoid terrible products that are out there. And it's really led me to build, I have a 2016 Camaro 2SS that was probably the worst car you can choose to build a drag car out of, but hey, we did it anyways. And then I just recently last year picked up a 1971 Camaro that we're doing a full ground up resto on. So that is the channel. I'm a year into the restoration, and when I say a year in, really we picked up and started really doing stuff in December. So we're about 5 months financially into the restoration, and we're looking to wrap up the 71 just before October. So the original goal was to reveal the 71 Lethal Classic at CamaroCon, but unfortunately CamaroCon was canceled. If you didn't know, maybe I should recap that. CamaroCon's an event I run. It's all about Camaros, bringing Camaro community together and having a good time. And yeah, I had hoped to have the vehicle be revealed there, but we got to figure out what that new reveal is. I'm hoping we can have a Camaros and Coffee here in Temecula, California, like we used to do, and go from there. So that's where we're at. Anyways, let's go to the channel, see what people are saying. So we got Trevor Jackson. I'm building a 1971 Chevelle with a Z06 LT4 dry sump and the motors having short block forged, internals put together at the machine shop. Nice. That's gonna be a pretty legit build right there. And what is this music? What are we're playing? I figure out how to make the music audio a little bit lower here. Maybe that will. Can I lower the desktop? Oh, that's almost nothing. We'll see if that works. Anyways, I got a wave from It's Just Anthony. Let's see here. James O'Malley. Hey, James O'Malley from Robert, Wisconsin. Welcome from Wisconsin. Sad LS Fest did it get canceled, Jason? I didn't hear that. What's your first Camaro and why the hate on the 4th gen? My first Camaro that I ever picked up, 69 Z28. And I didn't have it very long. And I'm not going to touch on the 4th gen right now. Wisconsin here too. How's it going, Matt? It's going good, Doug. Juniper, Florida in the house. What is going on out in Juniper? Let me say, this music's too much. I thought the music would be a nice touch, but it just feels like it's way too much. Anyways, so let's talk a little bit about the 6th gen. So I originally, and let me see, I may have some photos here. Maybe. Let's find out. So I originally picked up my car. It was one of the early orders ever submitted for the 6th gen cars. The car itself was completely spec'd out at Paradise Chevrolet here in Temecula, and here, maybe I can, wonder if I can get a little image up on here. Sorry, I'm new to this whole make little image windows pop up, and there we go. Hopefully you guys can see that. So that's a good example of my 2SS when it was street mode, because I want to talk about it from there and then why we got it to where it's at now. So originally I got my car as a dream car. I always wanted a new Camaro, and I saved my pennies for it for quite a few years. And when I saw the 6th gen was coming, I was making the choice between a 5th gen Z01 or a 6th gen fully loaded car, because as you guys know, a Z01 is a fully loaded heavy tank of a car with a supercharged motor, all that greatness. But the thing that got me into the 6th gen and moved away from the 5th gen was really the technology, because you can get what I got, my 2SS car, for what was it, 455 horsepower, and it was literally 0.1 seconds slower than a ZL1 in just about every test. So at that point, I'm like, well, I can get a non-supercharged car with a more modern interior with all the technology, the radio, all that stuff. If you guys remember the 5th gen interior, it was lacking really quick. GM didn't do a very good job upgrading that setup. So when I stepped back and was really deciding it, I would say the technology side of things was what swayed me to go 6th gen over 5th gen. And I'm kind of happy that I made that choice overall, but I think at the end of the day, a 5th gen ZL1 wouldn't have been the best car to turn into a drag car. And I may have not ever gone down the drag route if I went that route. And I necessarily wasn't planning to do a drag route with my 6th gen until I caught the bug. So I took my car. I had always planned to put a supercharger on it. I had always planned to do a cam because I wanted that choppy sound. I wanted that exhaust. And I did that. I worked with Cunningham Motorsports. They put a Pro Charger on the car. I had added the Stainless Works exhaust. They ended up doing a cam. We upgraded the fuel system. We did all sorts of stuff. And the car was making really good power. We're over 600 horsepower at the wheels. The car felt like a monster, and I was happy. But the internet was not happy. Everyone kind of pushed me a little bit harder, and watching what other people were doing, I got the bug for horsepower. I really did. And so I started going down the path of upgrading the car again. And I literally almost paid to do so many things twice because of that decision. Originally, I was like, I don't want to go over 700 horsepower. That was like when I set out, like Cunningham's like, okay, what's your plan for the car? So that way we could spec everything out right and do everything right. And so we spec'd the car for that. But unfortunately, I made the idiotic decision to keep going further, which then cost me a crap ton more money because I ignored my initial setting or my focus and went for something bigger. And here I am now with a car that has a Whipple supercharger on it, running C16 fuel at the time, or currently, full drag pack, 15-inch conversion, full 8.5 second roll cage, all of the safety measures required for drag racing beyond 9.999 or whatever the rule book is, and pushing probably 900 plus wheel horsepower. And a lot of that is thanks to Red Barn Racing, who's currently tuning my car and is currently doing all the build work on my car Since I stopped working with Cunningham and went with Red Barn, we redid the converter, we redid the cam, we added new lifters, new just about everything. We added heads to the car, we changed the fueling. Now we're going back to E85 because C16 costs about as much as it does to put a kid through college. And so that's where we're at with the 2016 2SS. And it's been a really fun journey. I don't want to negate that at all. There's definitely been some learnings. There's definitely been some good and bad products. But I think overall, the best part about the journey is I learned more about cars and working on cars than I had ever dreamed of initially. So I take it as a huge, I don't want to say accomplishment, but a huge, I don't even think learning lesson's the right one. A huge experience, a great experience. I mean, I've met so many friends. I've met so many of you guys potentially tuning in right now. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. And honestly, it's opened more doors than I ever dreamed of, because when I got my 2016, I didn't think I would be able to be in a position financially to build a ground up Resto 71 Camaro as my dream car. And that was something that kind of opened its doors and gave me, like, you know, it was kind of like one of those things like, ooh, let's peek in, let's open that door just a little bit. And I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. And I kind of put it out there like, okay, if I can find a good body, we'll do this. And that was a mistake in that instance. But I thought I found a good body, and I went out and I paid a decent money for a roller car that had a motor that was brand new, built 2 years prior, and was rough. And a lot of bad decisions, but we ended up getting the car that we did. And here I can go to that photo maybe. Nope, that's definitely not the photo. This was the day we picked it up. So let's go back. So this was the car the day we picked it up. So you can see it wasn't much. It was completely gutted. The car was, it looked like it had decent guts. We didn't see too much wrong with it. We didn't see any rust for the most part, outside of a few spots here and there that were, for the most part, I think it cost me 2 hours worth of welding work to patch and fix. But the one thing that we didn't know is how bad the front fenders were and how bad the doors were, underneath the skim coat that they provided. And actually, I think you can see my pointer here. But you can see these fenders and these doors, they were just bad. They don't look bad in this photo, and they passed the 3-foot test. Obviously, the gaps and the alignments and everything were completely off, and we knew that getting into it. But overall, the idea was to get no car that was pretty decent. Versus, I paid probably $5,000 less to get a completely stripped car that did come with a ton of parts. It came with a motor, came with a transmission, came with a ton of interior pieces and parts that the previous owner had purchased, but most of the parts were really cheap. They were no-name brands, Chinese knockoffs, and I ended up scrapping most of that stuff as worthless or stuff I was never going to use. I ended up selling the motor, selling the transmission, and in turn was able to kind of justify a lower cost of the car doing that, but it was still, I probably could have found a better body for a better price if I just would have waited a little bit longer. But overall, the journey has been great. So we've completely stripped down the car. We did a mini tub on it. We ended up, when we media blasted it, we made the call to buy new fenders and new doors, which could have been a bad or a good decision because of the amount of welding and body work we ended up having to do. But now we've gotten to a point where, and maybe I can show you. Wrong folder. Sorry. Let me pull up an image. And this image is of the car just the other day. Create, open with. Do I have to make another? Yeah, I'm going to have to make another window. See, I'm not good with this stuff. I should have had this stuff ready for you guys. I'm learning. There we go. So I think I can close that one, and I'll drag this one over here. So this was the car as of last weekend, before I started doing any sanding or prep work on it. We we had done a ton of body work, a ton of filler that basically came down to a really skinny, thin layer of body work. Overall, I say a ton of work, but it wasn't to the point where it was like this ridiculous thickness of body work and whatnot. But you can see the lines are starting to take shape. This is before we even sanded to get the body lines perfect. So, but you can see everything's looking really clean and smooth. We basically did 80 grit, did a feather fill layer, or what's called high build in the world of body work, and got it all prepped. So in this instance, it was ready for 80, and then we basically throughout this week have been doing 150 grit, getting it prepped for 240 or 260 or whatever it is, and then 300 or 320, and then 400. Once we get it down to 400, it'll be ready for paint. So you can kind of see the car here in multiple photos. Here it is without the stuff, but I think it's looking pretty good. It's coming together. And then you can see, here's before we feather filled some of the transitions, but you can see the more up-to-date photo, I believe. I think I downloaded it. No, I didn't. So this was before feather fill. So this was the state of it in the last video I uploaded. So you can see we've filled everything, we've patched everything, the doors and trunks and panels and everything, just getting it prepped and ready for that feather fill stage. But it's definitely been a journey for sure. Yeah, so let's go to some of the questions, because I stopped looking at things. Doug B says, how is it going, Matt? It's going good. 4th gen our catfish. 3rd gen gang up in here. Hey, I like 3rd gens, come on. 16 2SS is not the worst car to make a drag car. I have one too. Well, MBP Jake, if you're still here, I think it is, because I paid a heck of a lot of money for features I'm no longer using. And that's what I mean. I chose the wrong car. I literally picked the highest price SS you can get and then started to strip it down and make it a drag car. If I was smart, I would have bought a 1SS and started from there, or potentially even now that it's available an LT1 and started from there. Let's see here. Hey, just saying, love the channel. Not a live person, so I'll watch the recap later. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks, John. I've been a Camaro person all my life, and the interior of the 5th gen is why I couldn't pull the trigger on one. Also, the weight. Yeah, Leadus, I had a 5th gen. I had a 5th gen V6. Most people don't know that, but I had a V6 before I bought my 6th gen V8. And that being said, my dad he didn't want me to get rid of my V6 because I had done some work to it, at least enough to make it to where he liked it. So he actually took the car off my hands for what I owed on it, which wasn't all that much. And then unfortunately he got in a car accident. Someone T-boned him in the middle of an intersection, and that car got totaled out. So that the original lethal Camaro is gone forever. It's been crushed. Let's see here. Randy from Corpus Christi, Texas. Like your videos. I have a Camaro 2SS also. Nice. What color are you painting the Beast? I have not revealed that yet. Casey Severinson's message has been retracted. I'm between a 5th gen and a 6th gen. I don't care too much about the price. I just want to make sure I don't make, a misinformed decision. I want 850 plus to the wheel for a fun street car. Input. Oh, let's see here. I'm between a 5th and 6th. Well, I think the 6th gen is going to allow you to get to that power level quicker. Maybe. But I think the 5th gen might end up being ultimately cheaper, most likely, to build to 850 wheel. That's a lot of power for the street. I mean, unless you're going to like street car takeover events or something like that. But Casey Severinson, no, I haven't decided yet. But it's going to come down to your choice. I mean, the 6th gen, I believe, is going to be a lighter car for you, which could be better for an 850 horsepower car. But it really just depends what you plan to do with it. Yeah, I think we need some music again. Unfortunately, it's like the volume. If I could just change that might be better. Maybe. We'll see. Let me know if the music's too loud for you guys. But what is going on? We got 32 people tuned in right now. That's awesome. Says my stream is healthy. Was the Pro Charger setup sluggish on the low end? Still have enough grunt? I mean, that's kind of the big thing with a Pro Charger, Dean, is a Pro Charger is a supercharger that's going to come in a little bit higher in the RPM range. So for my setup specifically, we really started feeling it at that 3,000 RPM range. So once it hit that range, it started actually feeling, you know, the car came to life. The nice thing is I could daily drive the car like a normal Camaro SS. I ruined that when I added the converter. As soon as I added the converter to the car, it was a completely different car, and it didn't drive like a stock car. It was not the same. And little did I know, the converter was spec'd wrong for my setup. You know, Ryan Cunningham had gotten bad information from the company that we ordered it from, and it just, you know, we ended up pulling it out again and having it respec'd. It got a little bit better, but it still wasn't all that great. The car wouldn't lock out until fourth gear, 4,000 plus RPM range. It was not good. And since we've put the FTI converter in there, my car doesn't surge all over the place. I could drive it around the city, and when I go to the track, the car just hooks like a freaking dream. So we got to get to the track more. And with all the COVID-19 stuff, it's kind of put a damper on things. I understand, I get it, but you know, it's the impatient wannabe racer in me, because I am not a race car driver, but I definitely want to go more often and get better at it and have fun and document it. So yeah, let's see, where did I leave off? You were the reason I went with Stainless Works exhaust. I have no regrets. How much ballpark did it cost you to get your 2SS to 600 horsepower blower cam, as you said? Well, we had to do the fuel system too, keep in mind. So we did the cam, we did the blower, we did the LT4 fueling system and the DSX low side so we can keep E85. So the blower I bought used, so I got that for $4,000 plus the install cost. I don't remember exactly what that was. For the drop-in pistons and the forging, and the cam was somewhere in the range of like $6,000-7,000 range. And then the fuel system was, let's see here, the injectors were like $1,000 at the time. The LT4 high side pump was another $1,000 at the time. The DSX low side plus the install was like $2,000-3,000. So whatever that adds up to, it added up real quick. It was expensive. But the crappy part is I ended up redoing it, so I spent that money twice. Not smart. Let's see here. You still didn't answer why all the hate on the I don't have any hate for the 4th gens. Everybody thinks I hate the 4th gens. It's just, if I had to line up my favorite to my least favorite, unfortunately the 4th gen's at the bottom of my list. There's no reason why per se. It isn't my favorite. It looks like a catfish. Maybe my next car will be a 4th gen, and we'll do like a junkyard turbo build, and we'll be like Lethal McFarlane. No, I'm kidding. No. You should get a 3rd gen. I almost did get a 3rd gen before the 71, and it was a anniversary car, and it was only like $1,500. It was super cheap, and I ended up passing on it. I don't even know why. Probably because it was a 3rd gen. Hey Matt, hope you and the family are staying safe and healthy. We are. Any thoughts on what's to come after 2023 Camaro? I could certainly hope there's another Camaro coming, but right now GM has given us nothing to say that anything is coming for Camaro after 2023. And honestly, even after this year, even after 2021, we don't even know if there's going to be more. It feels like, I mean, they added a new color, but it's not necessarily new because GM offers it on other cars, so it feels like they're just kind of mixing a few things up. I'd love to see them do like one last hurrah. Maybe pull that Z28 off the shelf and release that car, or drop the LT5 in the Z01 and the LT2 in the Camaro SS. Like, that would be a huge upgrade bump. But the problem is those motors, well, I guess, yeah, technically the LT5 could be used, but the LT4 would have to need some engineering to work in the Camaro. So I don't know. And also, I don't know if those motors create more heat that the cooling systems of the current Camaro can handle. I would assume they could. It's not that much more power, and we've definitely seen people push the SS system with the stock cooling setups without issue, but it'd be nice to see some power bump, but I doubt it will happen. What exhaust company would you recommend if you're looking for classic muscle car sound? Oh man, that's, what is this? I don't know why that's, sorry, I don't know why that did that, but the best sound muscle car, that's tough because sound is very subjective. Like, to me, I honestly feel Stainless Works has the best old school muscle sound, but I don't even know if I agree with that because that really depends on the kind of old school muscle motor a muscle car is going to have. Like, I don't know if you guys know Jay's 2 cents, but he just picked up a 1967 Camaro and put like Flowmaster 40s or whatever the heck they're called on it, and that car sounds amazing. And it just has a crate motor ZZ freaking 350, nothing special, and it sounds amazing, you know. And it's like, if I can make my 6th gen sound like that motor, I would, but I can't, or at least I haven't been able to, or I haven't heard any exhaust that's going to do that. But it's a really distinct tone. And even at the end of the day, like, you know, I've run Stainless Works for a very long time, and I've made quite a few changes, and it's getting to the point where I honestly feel my exhaust is too loud, and maybe I'm just getting old. It's probably that, but I don't know. Like, I still love the way my car sounds, and I love how snappy it sounds when the crackles and pops still happen, and I love the way it sounds running down the track. But at the end of the day, I don't think it sounds like a classic muscle car. It's definitely a more modern sound. So, I don't think anybody's accomplished that muscle car, old school muscle car sound in the late model cars. What's your power stop? Z26 brake pads. Have been running them for roughly 500 miles on my 5th gen, and definitely seeing less brake dust on my rims. Thank you for that video. Oh, sweet, man. Glad that was helpful for you. I think for your classic Camaro, a black cherry metal flake would look awesome on that car. You know, I have a love-hate relationship with candy apple red. And yes, I would never do a candy apple in a paint job on my car, but I like that color, and I think my Ram truck is probably testament of that, because I did get a deeper, flaky, metallic red color. But would I paint my 2nd gen that color? The problem is I've seen too many 2nd gens that color, and I want something a little different. And I think the color I'll end up going with is also going to be a color that's also seen on 2nd gens way too much, but I think it fits me and will allow flexibility. At least, I don't know. We'll see. I don't even know if I'm sold on the color I'm going with yet. So at least that I've told myself I'm going with yet. And no, I'm not telling you what it is. Oh, man. Thanks for the Gen 6 DIY videos. Oh, they've been super helpful in the vinyl wrapping Oh, nice, man. Take our wide body 4th gen clone. Nice. When you go in twin turbos, but when I want to be more efficient in life, I'm obviously not efficient person at all because I'm slow. My car's not even fast anymore. There's so many 6th gens that have been built up and run faster. Like, it's just disappointing. You know, it's like my car was there. We never really got the numbers we wanted. And it wasn't because the car didn't do it or couldn't do it. It was just we didn't have enough track time to dial it in. We still have the same trans tune from like 2.5 years ago. So we need to get out to the track, adjust shift points. We got to push the blower and the setup that we have all the way. It's just one of those things. And here, maybe I don't think I deleted that. Did I? Oh, that's a hold screen. None of my pictures want to show up anymore. Okay, we're adding a new photo. So, sorry, I'm like clicking randomly and vigorously. Where is a current photo? Yeah, I guess we can do this one. Open with, go to OBS. So I'm using OBS. I'm not good with this whole scene, and one day I'll figure it all out. So there's my current car. Here's Lethal in its current form. I have a lot of photos in here. These photos were taken by local car scenes Justin. I wanted to get some photos of the new hood. I like that photo. You can see like the grains and stuff in it. It's really cool. Those welds. I love the Anvil Auto Notch spoiler. It's my new favorite. My new favorites. Ah, my eye. It just looks so good. So Anvil Auto made a notch spoiler for the 5th gens. And it was probably one of the most popular spoilers, but it took forever to get. And it's still the same issue with the 6th gen, unfortunately. But it does scale there. Sorry. But I really like it. So when's the new color reveal? When the car is done. What's the #1 street tire you recommend for high horsepower? I mean, R888s are probably going to be the best street tire that you can get. But are they going to hold power? Not once you go over 700, they won't. Let's see if we got some better photos. I know I got some photos of the track. Sorry, I'm flying through. There is a cool track. I love this photo. You see tire wrinkle. I want to make a poster of it. Would you guys be interested in a poster of this? I don't know. I'd really like it. Although this was before we can get the nose really off the ground. But now we're really getting the nose off the ground thanks to the converter. Like literally we're getting 1.2 second 60 foots. And I think we can get low 1.2s here pretty quick. What do you think about a hybrid V8? Well, we don't know if they will. If they do make one, I'll own one. Because I'd rather not commute in a truck, and I'd rather not drive a Tesla. And if they come out with a Camaro, that's an electric Camaro, I'll still have my V8 in my 71. I'll still have my V8 in my 16. So I'm not missing out on anything. And then I can get an electric Camaro and commute and not have to buy gas and then ruin the world with the other two. I think that's a good theory. I don't think that's a bad one. Here, this is basically what my car looks like right now in the garage, minus the hood is open. Lazy Troy, you did not have to do that. Appreciate it, sir. But you definitely did not have to do that. Remember when the hood was off? So when in between, I was before I got the Anderson composite hood, I was cruising around with no hood. People are like, "What the heck? You should leave it like that." Camaro Con, who remembers Camaro Con? This was Camaro Con in October. Oh, that was such a fun show. That was so much fun. If you guys went to Camaro Con, that was freaking awesome. Thanks for coming out and making that show. It's literally like a highlight of my life to this day. So I really hope we can keep it going. Hopefully events will rebound with all this craziness, but so much fun at this event. Look at almost tire lift. We almost saw some tire lift. Oh, I can't wait. I want to go racing. I want to go racing again. I shouldn't sit here and look at photos. I love these photos. This is Beach Bend Raceway at Camaro Fest. I love going out there. Yeah, I mean, if anything, Colin, it's going to allow me to potentially go. I don't think if it was happening this year, I was going to be able to scrounge up the time and the cash to be able to make it a fun trip for me and the family. So it's one of those things that I really enjoy going out there, seeing Mike Lee, who runs the event, and all of the people who make the Camaro community. It's a special event, and it's not just about driving the cars and showing off the cars, but the parking lot fun and all that stuff. And I so want to figure out how we can create that atmosphere here on the West Coast, because it's something that we're missing, and it was something CamaroCon was kind of missing in a way. As much as we were able to get together and have a good time, like I want to be able to figure out how we can do that late night kind of hangout sesh, drink, have a good time, chit chat. Just, it's fun. It's good stuff. Yeah, it really is a family experience. Okay, this is when we're putting the roll cage in. Kirky's in. My wife was taking. Look at my beautiful wife sitting in my ginormous Kirky seat. There you go. Just after some carbon fiber pieces. I really like the way these look on the car, and they're holding up pretty well too. Burnouts. I don't think I have any videos. These are all images. That's it. That's all the photos I have in there. But yeah, no, it's good times. Destiny with Trent. What's going on, man? But does anybody have any questions? So I didn't really plan this out very well, but it's like one of those things where we've talked about the 6th gen. We've talked about the Classic. You know, does anybody have questions around either build? I'm going to assume you tuned your 8.8 trans. How much of a difference did it make compared to the stock? Oh, look at my wife's behind me. Oh, hey, Ryan, want to say hi to everybody? Here, come here. The camera's right there. You wave? So if you guys don't know, this is my youngest son, number 4. Huh. How old are you now? 4? Almost 5. He keeps telling everybody he's 5. He's not 5 yet. You're getting there, huh? But a lot of people know Ryan from the channel. He has a rare blood disorder.
Almost 6, actually.
And he was a trooper and fighter for the first couple years of his life. And what was it, January of last year, he had surgery and his spleen removed, and that stopped his body from destroying his good red blood cells. And now he's a perfectly functioning young boy who just has to watch out if he gets sick, because he doesn't have a spleen, which is your primary defense in your immune system. What are you doing, silly boy? You're crazy. Okay, I'm gonna put you down. Aww. You want to say hi, Luke?
Hi.
Luke, my number 2. See, there's a camera right there. You're getting huge. Yeah, he's shy. Doesn't want to say anything. Can you say hi to everybody?
Hi.
Okay. Half of my family there. So missing Zach and Kyle. But here, let's see if there's any questions. I have a general question about choosing a cam. Can you use an NA cam with a supercharger down the line? I mean, you technically can, but you're not going to see the benefit from it. So the whole point of a cam is to bolster your setup. So if you're running a blower, you would want a blower cam. Now, the downside of buying a blower cam up front and then adding a blower in the future, you're not going to see those big gains right up front. But as soon as you put the blower on, you'll see much bigger gains out of it than you would just without it. So keep that in mind. And for the 6th gen Camaro, it is definitely not worth it to do a cam 2 times. It's so expensive to swap them out because the work is just intense. There's a lot of things you got to do. It's a little cheaper if you do want to do it the second time, because you just got to buy the cam, because you already got the lifters and you already got all the springs and all that stuff. But you know, I think technically I do have new springs, because we ended up using the new springs on my Frankenstein ED heads. So I don't know. I've spent too much money on my stupid car. Other than white, if you had to pick another color, what color would you get your 6th gen in? I was this close to getting silver. I almost got the silver color, and I was going to do black and red accents. And someone else had done it just after I ordered my car. Like, they posted pictures of it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I didn't do that, because they did it. And I think if I was to do it all over again, like if I walked up to the plate today and said, I want to get a 6th generation Camaro, I'd go find a garnet red ZL1. That's what I'd do. I really like that garnet red. Every time I see it in person, it's just a smexy color. I love my white, don't get me wrong, but if I was to redo it, I'd do that. But white with carbon fiber, it's funny because I didn't do carbon fiber up front because no one had anything carbon fiber. But now I'm really happy I did, because I love the way my car looks. What are my thoughts on sequential taillights? I mean, I don't hate them. I definitely don't hate them. Let's see here. Can you add a supercharger to a stock LT1 without other mods other than being tuned? Yes. Most people will do that. They'll just put a supercharger on their car. Your stock fuel system will be able to support up to 600 rear wheel horsepower. You may need a cam to get it there, but you can slam a supercharger on the car without really touching anything else. But just know the moment you want to add a cam, you have to do fueling. Some sort of fueling. This might be a tough question to answer. I know you live in California, but do you know of any good car shop to do a build on my 2SS in the Midwest that you may have heard of? Midwest. Not that I mean, if you want to go out to, like, what is Midwest? Like, upper area? I don't know. All the shops I know that have been up there. I mean, I know some shops in Texas. I know some shops, obviously, in SoCal. I don't really know great shops everywhere else. I know a couple decent guys across on the East Coast. Yeah, I'm gonna avoid saying shop names because everybody gets mad at me. Like, oh, you don't say my shop name. I thought we were friends. I have a Garnet Red 16 2SS and I love it. See, somebody loves it. I love it too. You have a beautiful car. Is a trans tune on an 8.8 worth it? I mean, depends what you're doing. I mean, in my instance, it was definitely worth it because we can really fine tune where we wanted the shift points to get the most power out of my setup. So it really just depends what you're planning on doing with the car and why. Why do you want to tune it? Because one, sure, go unlock it, get it tuned, but why? What's the reason? In my instance, the new converter and how we're driving the car and how we're pushing the car changed a lot of things. And you typically want to shift to stay into power. So we're chasing that power curve, right? So that's where it comes into play. God bless you and your family, man. Appreciate it, Randy. I want Garnet Red, but I settled for the black SS they had on the lot. Now I have a car that is never clean. That is probably why I will never own a black car, because I would go insane, and I don't think I can afford the bill to keep it clean all that much. Oh, God, I thought I was going to sneeze, but I yawned. What the heck? Nikki performance outside of Chicago, like Nebraska. I don't know anyone in Nebraska. I was thinking about putting 160 thermostat in my fifth gen to keep the engine cooler. You could do that, Robert, but you have to get a tune if you're going to do that, because you can't just throw in a thermostat and have it work that way. The computer has to know that it's working that way. Did your trans tune increase your paddle shift speed? I don't use my paddle shifts to shift. You wouldn't want to. The way that we set up my trans is when I'm in the burnout box, we're in manual mode. So we're doing our burnouts, all that stuff, roll up to the line, shift it over into drive, and we specifically have all of the set gear shift points set. So the computer's doing all the shifting for the most part. I mean, could I shift it by hand? Sure. Would I be as good as a computer? Heck no. So it's all set up that way. And love the second gen build. Hey, appreciate it, Jerk. Is your name Jerk Major? Major Jerk. Yes, sir. Random, Navigator or Escalade? Neither. I got a Suburban Premier RST. I like that. I mean, the interior of the new GMC or the Escalades. Oh my God. I would pay for that. That is sexy, but I don't like the Escalades. So I'm okay with my my fully loaded bourbon. The Burbs. Are Mickey Thompson ET Street RSs worth it for 700? Yeah. You want to hook all the time once they get warm? Do it. Manual trans is the most fun. Why is that? Why is it the most fun? And don't tell me because you feel connected to your car, because that is bull crap. You want to feel connected to your car? Sit in a Kirky. Yeah, you'll feel everything your car has to give. I promise. I was going insane now. The hell with it. I gave up. I just wash it when I can. Yeah, I get that. Oh, man. Have you figured out a way to get the 19 rearview mirror camera into your 1618 Camaro? I didn't figure out a way, but Gen 5 DIY figured out a way. So you can add the rearview backup camera to your 6th gen car. The problem is I don't have a spoiler where I can mount a camera. Now, I could wait, or I could retrofit the antenna camera that GM came out with that's available and make it work that way, but I haven't done it yet. Nor do I have any reason to. I don't street drive the 6th gen. It would be a huge, colossal waste of money for me because I don't use it, or I wouldn't use it. But it's cool. I love it. I wanted to do it, but maybe if I get a second 6th gen, which I won't, I'd do it. Maybe if I get a 5th gen, I can add it to that. Wanted to ask you what type of throttle body to run. Didn't want to run too big of a throttle body going to the daily drive. My 6th gen, more power, but didn't want it to be. I'm running the Nick Williams 103. That really didn't change the daily drivability. The converter was a bigger slayer in that, but if you just change your throttle body, I don't think it's going to change the drivability too much, especially if you have a tuner that can set up that properly. It is the rev matching noise. Okay, I'll give you that. Do you think it was a good idea for the 6th gen to chase lap times rather than quarter mile? Yes and no. I mean, Ford never really chases times at all. Mopar has just been throw more power at it and keep the same chassis and body. And Chevy has always been about aiming at performance in multiple different ways. And if you look at the team that designed the 6th gen, they're mostly circuit, track, road course guys. Like, that's what they were. So it makes complete sense that the 6th gen was highly focused on that. Can the 6th gen drag? Heck yeah. Have you seen the Copo program? I mean, it's a much different car per se because the chassis is completely different and it's literally set up for drag racing. But I mean, they have a drag race setup, and the Copo is one of the most potent factory-built cars out there. I don't think the Cobra Jet touches it, and neither does the Mopar stuff. So, and they're just going to get faster. So I wish they would add more options for the motors, but the class-specific settings for those are very specific, and it is what it is. If I was able to afford a Copo, I would just put something retarded in there. I'd put a huge old motor. I'd put a big old blower or turbos or nitrous or something like that and create a 6-second car. You know, screw this 8-second stuff. But I'll never go 6 seconds, at least not currently. And I don't foresee that in the future either. You know, I'm hoping to get into the 8s. That's the goal. Is E85 worth it? It is literally the best bang for your buck power adder. So for the cost of E85 for a flex fuel kit and a tune, you're getting more power for your dollar spent than any other mod that you can get in a 6th gen Camaro. Especially if you plan on doing a blower and you're going to upgrade your fuel system anyways, you can really see it. Like E85 is worth almost 100 horsepower alone in my build just because of E85. Like just because of the way that it was set up and tuned and all that stuff, we gained a ton of power out of it. Even not supercharged, you still can gain 25 to 30 wheel horsepower guaranteed running ethanol. It's a cool way. Our fuel systems can support it. They're Teflon coated lines, so it's not going to deteriorate or ruin rubber hoses because you don't have any. And it's a good bang for your buck. Unfortunately, I have E85 kits on my site, and I can't sell any because GM has no fuel lines right now. So I need a secondary fuel line to connect the sensor, and GM's backordered and has been for a month, and I have no ETA on when I'm going to get those, and it really sucks because selling flex fuel kits has actually helped me fund the 71 Camaro build, so we're kind of having to slow down because I don't have any kits to sell. Sad face. And it's really expensive creating your own fuel line here in the States, unless you know people. Just got a Borla S-Type axle back installed today, and your video helped in making my decision. Nice. Does it sound like it did in the video, Demick? Only problem is GM keeps the Camaro down because of its Corvette. I don't know if that's true. I think GM has put all of their cars aside And obviously the C8 Corvette's their baby, so they're elevating it. It's just one of those situations where the end of life for the 6th gen's right on top of start of life for the C8. And that's their new baby, and they want to put everything they can into it. And I don't blame them for that, but unfortunately, we may not see Camaro again. Maybe we will. We don't know. They got time. You know, if they keep making these cars now till 2023, they could do a lot in 2 years. And even, it's been 4 years, they've had designs and ideas for the 7th gen and 8th gen. They had highlighted that at Camaro Fest multiple years ago. So it's not like there's not work done. It's just shelved. So whether or not they pick it up and push it forward, we'll find out. But it will have to be a hybrid of some sort, because as of 2023, there will be no pure gas-only cars. Even if you look at the chart for the Corvette, the LT2 will be supported by some sort of hybrid drive starting 2023. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm able to hit 550 wheel horsepower without E85 if I keep my car in a. I don't think you can unless you're on a happy dyno. If you add E85, do heads, cam, intake, cold air intake, tune, probably porting work on the heads and porting work on the intake and throttle body and long tube headers. I think you can get there. Maybe. I think. In your opinion, why have the 6th gen Camaro sales lag? They're expensive. GM doesn't have nearly the kind of sales that Ford does. If you look at the Ford Mustang price to price MSRP, sure, the Camaro can be cheaper, but Ford has like $10,000 off their cars all the time, and it's a cheaper option, so people are going to go for it every time because cheap is king. It sucks. Do you regret going to C16 in the Gen 6? No, it was definitely a learning experience. I regret spending as much money as I did on it, but I don't regret doing it, not even a little bit. Yes, it does. Perfect. Already in love with it. Have some smoke tail lights coming Saturday as well. Oh yeah, that was to the question up above. Thoughts on the steel Camaro, the one that they just stopped making? I think it looks cool. I mean, it's a gimmick, but yeah. Yeah, so I think that's about it. We've been live for a while, 56 minutes. This has been an almost hour-long live stream. This is the first full. I did a live stream, I think, last week where I didn't even save the video. I didn't know what I was doing, so hopefully this video saves. But the idea here was just to create a video, chat about the current cars, and talk with you guys, have some conversation, and just, you know, be a part of the community we've created here. So it's pretty exciting. We did hit 60,000 subscribers this week, so I know that's not some crazy milestone like some of these other channels, but I'm not a vlogger by any means, so the fact that we even grew the channel this big has been primarily because of you guys, you know, buying products or helping your friends with products, and hey, check out Lethal's channel, he's got an install guide or whatever. All of that stuff. It's all because of you guys. So thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks for checking out the stream. I want to start doing more of these, and maybe I can come up with some better topics, or you guys can shoot me, you know, DMs on Instagram. If you guys aren't following me there, Lethal_Camaro, over 100,000 followers there, which is just blows my mind. But shoot me a DM. Let me know some topics you'd like to see talked about. You know, I might not know the answers, but maybe I could do like a joint stream with someone who can talk about or respond to a topic you're interested in, because the one thing I found out real quick on YouTube is if I'm looking for it, there's probably a lot of other people looking for it as well. So could be some good content. So either or. Thanks for checking out the stream. Thanks for following along. Make sure to subscribe, follow on Lethal_Camaro, hit me up on Facebook, all the channels you're on. I share different stuff all over the place. Also, don't forget about Lethal Garage on Instagram as well. That's also a unique channel too. So either or. Thanks for joining tonight. Thanks for asking questions and hanging out. I love you all. Thank you for all the support. And until next time, see you in the next stream or on the road.